What is dependable knowledge?
It is knowledge which harmonizes with natural law, which means that it is based upon positive thought.
Welcome back to the House of Ajay, NoNarcNetwork TV, and Oshun Ajay exclusive. I am the Oracle, Oshun Ajay. We have reached lesson 32 of Dissecting the Devil, my people. At the end of this study, we will have officially dissected Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. We have reached lesson 32 of 33 lessons, my people. Let's get it.
Does time modify and alter the values of knowledge?
Yes, time modifies and alters all values. That which is accurate knowledge today may become null and void tomorrow.
For example, when we first started to learn about God, most of us imagined God in heaven to be in the sky and God to be like a big man. And then over time, as we began to grow spiritually, then we, internalized God, and we began to understand that God and heaven were states of mind and states of being that actually existed already within us. Why did this truth change over time?
Because of time's rearrangement of facts and values. Time modifies all human relationships for better or for worse, depending upon the policy through which people relate themselves to one another.
So time modifies all human relationships for better or for worse, depending upon the policy through which people relate themselves to one another. Okay, so some examples of these quote unquote policies would be like a marriage license, okay, that because, if you love someone, you should just be with whoever you love. But when you begin to impose the law on it, by a government or, something such as a policy or a contract, then over time, that contract will expire. And so then we see a lot of marriages ending in separation or divorce. OK, other examples of policies are our birth certificate when we're born, and then the death certificate when we die. Another policy would be your driver's license or a chauffeur's license if a person is going to have a relationship with you as your Uber driver, your chauffeur, your driver, your Lyft driver, whatever. So these are examples of some of the policies that we use to relate ourselves to one another. And the one thing that all policies have in common is the fact that they all have an expiration date. Okay?
In the realm of thought, there is a time when it is proper to sow the seeds of thought, and there is a proper time to reap the harvest of those thoughts, the same as there is a time to sow and a time to reap from the soil of the earth. Without the proper measurement of time between the sowing and the reaping, nature modifies or withholds the rewards of the sowing.
In other words, if you do not put the proper time and energy into your manifestations and try to rush them along, you may end up reaping something, okay? But it's not going to be that lush green harvest that you wish to reap. You'll most likely end up reaping something that is not of much value at all, okay?
Go ahead now and describe the last two of the 7 principles.
The next principle is harmony. Throughout nature, one may find evidences that all natural law moves in an orderly manner, through the law of harmony. Through the operation of this law, nature forces everything within the range of a given environment to become harmoniously related.
Through the operation of the law of harmony, nature forces everything in a given environment to become harmoniously related. Like this.
Understand this truth, and you will catch a new and a more intriguing vision of the power of environment. You will understand why association with negative minds is fatal to those seeking self-determination.
Do you mean that nature voluntarily forces human beings to harmonize with the influences of their environment?
Yes, that is true. The law of hypnotic rhythm forces upon every living thing the dominating influences of the environment in which it exists.
If nature forces human beings to take on the nature of the environment in which they live, What means of escape are available to people who find themselves in an environment of poverty and failure, but desire to escape?
A lot of artists reflect the influence of their environment in their work, as well as their desire to escape. One artist whose work I'm particularly intrigued by is Vincent van Gogh. You could tell that he could see the energy, frequency, and vibration in the air, and he actually painted the movement of energy. One of his paintings, entitled Starry Night, is the actual view that he saw from the window in the insane asylum that he was placed in, after cutting off his own ear in an attempt to quote unquote silence the spirits that were giving him direction.
They must change their environment or remain poverty-stricken. Nature permits no one to escape the influences of his environment. However, nature, in her abundance of wisdom, has given to every normal human being the privilege of establishing his own mental, spiritual, and physical environment.
Why is it important to be reminded of this? Because
there are moments in life when we believe that everything is falling apart. What we actually don't know is that, at times like these, when we feel hopeless and at a point of no return, everything is falling into its place. Change is not always welcome, but it's inevitable, and often when we believe that our life is a complete chaos, it's because everything is being arranged in order to synchronize with our true passions and desires.
Remember my prophetic dream about the time of change? Well, it's happening as we speak.
But once he establishes it, he must become a part of it.
How will you know when it's time to change and become a part of your new environment?
1. The things you don't like have become unbearable. There is nothing worse than feeling annoyed. It comes out of the blue, like a mosquito while you're asleep, and it starts itching, making you scratch your skin till it bleeds. When little, meaningless things in life start bugging you, be sure that a change is about to happen. It has to happen. There is a certain amount of negativity that we can deal with before the last straw breaks the camel's back. Something snaps and we take action. 2. You feel lost. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself. We've all heard these words. It kinda sounds backwards, but that's only until we figure out why. When you're lost, you have no direction, and when there is no direction, there is no desire. When there is no desire, you don't need anything, and when you don't need anything, that's when your soul starts to speak. Even though things might seem out of control, in this moment you are in a perfect disposition to accept everything that your heart is completely and unconditionally trying to show you. You're now tracing your new path. And maybe what you really need is that radical change that will help you get your mind, body, heart, and soul in sync. 3. Leave the incubator. Have you ever noticed that there are periods when your schedule is completely packed with adventures, parties with your friends and family, and trip to a point when you feel that you are barely keeping up? On the other hand, the rest of year you spend isolated, even depressed, going through deep introspection. The length of these cycles varies, but we all go through momentum shifts during our lives. We need these cycles to form our perspective of the world. Moments spent introspecting offer us emotional, psychological, and spiritual growth, while the outward pulses manifest as new experiences, traveling, and broadening our horizons. When you break free from the incubator period, it feels like you are being reborn. This means that you took your time to recharge your batteries, take a step back and reevaluate the things and people that surround you, in order to set another goal and trace a new path towards a better life. 4. You feel scared, excited, and anxious at the same time. The incubator stage you have been going through is finally coming to an end, and now you have a new course in life. So, what's next? When something feels scary and exciting at the same time, you should go and do it. Take the leap, as you definitely feel something big is about to happen and the momentum is building. You have no idea what to expect, But you feel that you are on the right path and you are anxious to see what is waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. At moments as such, there is no point in making big plans, as they are probably going to get cancelled or postponed, and it will only give you headaches and frustration. You've set your goal, but the energies are still aligning as the many possible outcomes unravel. You need to explore and evaluate every single one of them before you decide to follow the path your higher self had already chosen. Be patient, stay open, and go with the flow. These are exciting times. 5. Synchronicities. Is there anything better than the subtle clues left by the universe, pointing that you are on your true path? Synchronicities serve as soft assurances that your actions, thoughts and feelings are aligned with your higher self. When you are about to undergo a major shift, you will start seeing number 5 everywhere you turn. Number 5 is the clearest of signs that you need to change yourself, or the things around you, because you are going through times of change that will transform you forever. Nevertheless, a change should never be perceived as positive or negative. It's simply necessary and it's bound to happen. 5:55. It's time to wake up, wake up, wake up.
This is the inexorable working of the law of harmony.
In a business association, for example, who establishes the dominating influence that determines the rhythm of the environment?
The individual or individuals who think and act with definiteness of purpose.
Is it as simple as that?
Yes. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point from which an individual may establish his own environment.
And for me on my journey, I've realized you become empowered when you realize that you don't have to compete with someone else. You don't have to fight for your slice of cake. And it's amazing, so many of us in our society, we always want to fit in. No one wants to be alone. And for me, I've found my greatest strength in realizing that every single human being on this planet is having a unique experience.
I do not seem to follow your reasoning. The entire world is torn with warfare and business depressions and other forms of strife which represent about everything except harmony. Nature does not seem to be forcing people to harmonize with one another. How do you explain this inconsistency?
There is no inconsistency. The dominating influences of the world are, as you say, negative, negative, negative. Very well, nature is forcing human beings to harmonize with the dominating influences of the world environment. Manifestations of harmony may be either positive or negative. For example, a group of men in prison may, and they generally do, think and act in a negative manner.
Tonight, an inmate claims he snuck into R. Kelly's jail cell to attack the singer.
But nature sees to it that the dominating influence of the prison is impressed upon every individual in it.
This is Jeremiah Farmer, who claims he was forced to beat the Grammy winner. Kelly was asleep in his cell at Chicago's Metropolitan Correctional Center last Wednesday when he was attacked. Farmer, in jail for racketeering conspiracy, lays it all out in this appeal to the 7th Circuit. Farmer writes he was, quote, forced to assault hip-hop and R&B singer R. Kelly in hopes of getting spotlight attention and world news notice to shed light on the government corruption, end quote.
A group of poverty-stricken people in a tenement house may fight among themselves and apparently resist all forms of harmony.
No, Bill, would you let two loving brothers get a moment alone to get reacquainted and shit, know what I'm saying?
Where the fuck am I supposed to go? I know where the fuck I am.
Don't give a fuck where you go. Can't you skinny ass up the school? You up to the motherfucking swing away from it.
Swing, motherfucker, that's cold as it is out here.
I'm trying to get some motherfucking money from my brother here. Goddamn it.
What do I look like a fool, motherfucker?
Stick this shit in your mouth. Shit. Smoke this shit. Shut
You
the fuck up.
motherfucker, give me a motherfucking light, goddamn.
Here, take this goddamn lighter. Take this goddamn lighter. Can't your motherfucking ass.
You better hurry your ass or you better come back with the motherfucking money, motherfucker. Shit.
Go back there.
Cold out here.
You fuck, you freeze your motherfucking ass off. Just go. Shit.
But nature forces each of them to become a part of the dominating influence of the house in which they live.
Welcome to the Taj Mahal, 8th wonder of the world. Gator Mama wants to know where the TV is. You know the mess lost. There's some sorry motherfuckers. Half of them can't play good as Mama. Where's the TV, Gator? What do you think the motherfucking color TV is? It's right here. Me and Bill smoking the fucking color TV. Sony, no baloney. Bill, calm down, baby. Come on, it's all right. Come on, hey. This ain't a joke. Mama is crying her eyes out over your sorry black ass. Look, I like getting high. Why you think I got a room here at the Taj Mahal? I'm a junkie. Crackhead. Just tell Mama how old his son is a crackhead. Fine, that's it. We're cutting you off, Gator. Don't come by the good Reverend Doctor's house anymore. Don't ever ask me for shit. If you want to go out like this, you fine. You do it with your crack hole.
Crack hole. Eat me, motherfucker. Eat me. Take your butt down.
Get off of me, man.
Out of here, motherfucker.
That's right. Get the fuck on back downtown. I'm shooting Mickey. I'll shoot your ass and that's shoot your bitch. You better get out of my way. Leave me alone.
Harmony, in the sense it is here used, means that nature relates everything throughout the universes to every other thing of a similar nature. Negative influences are forced into association with one another, no matter where they may be. Positive influences are just as definitely forced into association with one another.
Power is the ability to define someone's reality and have that person accept that definition as if it were their own.
Everything was stripped from us. That's why we're so ignorant today and so baffled and ridiculous and keep going in the same circle.
From executive producer, who has appeared on The Tonight Show, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, and various MTV and VH1 programs.
Our history, for some reason, it becomes offensive to people. So we have to stop being afraid to tell what our true history is.
Best-selling author Tariq Nasheed is determined to uncover the real truth about untold history.
It's necessary to destroy a man's mind in order to maintain control of him. If a man knows who he is and continues that into his legacy, to his children, then you have problems controlling that man.
Interviewing leading scholars and historians, discussing topics omitted from modern history.
Only a people who haven't learned how to respect themselves will let someone suggest themselves that they forget about their history.
Hidden Colors, the untold history of people of Aboriginal, Moor, and African descent. The groundbreaking documentary that challenges conventional knowledge.
I don't really think it's hidden. It's there. It's just that they're not allowing us to understand.
I'm beginning to see why successful business leaders are so careful in the choice of their business associates. Men who succeed in any calling usually establish their own environment by surrounding themselves with people who think and act in terms of success. Is that the idea?
That is the idea exactly. Observe, with profit, that the one thing all successful men insist upon is harmony among their business associates. Another trait of successful people is that they move with definiteness of purpose and insist upon their associates doing the same. Understand these two truths, and you understand the major difference between a Henry Ford and a day laborer.
Now, tell me about the last of the 7 principles.
The last principle is caution. Next to the habit of drifting, the most dangerous human trait is the lack of caution.
This ends Lesson 32 Reloaded, my people. As you know, the original Lesson 32 was blocked worldwide due to the music used in the original version. Okay, so this is Lesson 32 Reloaded. If you would like to support the channel with a donation, the Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo links are in the description, and the Super Chat button is always on, okay? To gain access to exclusive content or to join the private NoNarc network and the Emerald Tablet book study, hit the links to Oshun exclusive on Patreon or Badass Witch exclusive on Subscribestar. To purchase NoNarc Network merch, hit the Teespring link, and if you need readings, rituals, and or spiritual supplies, hit the link to the Badass MagickShop, which is open 24/7, okay? Once again, this ends Lesson 32 Reloaded, my people. I will see you all at Lesson 33. Peace.